Looking for a summer experience your child will never forget? Camp Paw Print and Camp Wildside at Dane County Humane Society offer unforgettable opportunities to learn, explore, and grow while having fun. Perfect for kids ages 7 to 12, Camp Paw Print features hands-on animal encounters, crafts, themed lessons, and more. For youth ages 12 to 15, Camp Wildside offers unique themes focused on wildlife exploration, nature adventures, and conservation activities. Make lasting memories with these one-of-a-kind camps. Spots fill quickly, so register today at giveshelter.org/education. This is CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Today, it's Tuesday, and we're going to talk about some recent stories in Madtown. March Madness turns to sadness for the Badgers. Boo! Reconsidering elementary school namesakes, and good news in our hamlet. I'm here now with our executive producer, Haley Sperling, to get into it. Hey, Haley.
Hi, Bianca. We really do have a full grab bag of news today.
Yes, and how are you doing?
I'm doing good. The sun is shining and we're here. We've got some good news to kick off of, but we've also got some bad news to kick off.
Well, let's go ahead and dribble right into it, Haley, my fellow Badger alum. It's March, it's madness, and it's basketball season. And the NCAA tournament started out with great hopes that were dashed. Badgers lost the opening game. Haley, what happened?
Yeah, truly devastating. You summed it all up right there. Should we just end this segment here? Badgers lost. It's officially over for Badger men's basketball. I said specifically in the March Guide episode that we are going to fight the Ides of March with some March Madness. Turns out March Madness, she's a cruel mistress, and the Badgers found that out last week when they lost to 12th seeded High Point in the first round of the NCAA tournament. So cue the sad violins. This is a real big bummer for a lot of people. The Badgers, for what it's worth, in the game, they looked poised to win. They held a double-digit lead in the first half of the game, but it ended in a heartbreak, an upset, 83-82 loss, a nail biter at the end of the day. I wasn't even watching because I was like, 12 seed, they'll be fine. We got this.
We were also at work.
We were also working.
To be fair.
It was in the middle of the day. And it was just, kind of ironic, very sad, because the USA Today actually dubbed the Badgers the quote unquote like sleepers of the tournament, aka the ones to watch. And like I said, I'm glad we were not watching. So it's a big bummer. The Badgers have not advanced past the first weekend of the tournament since 2017, which is pretty sad to think about. But it did spark some memories of the time that we went to the championships back in 2015. That was fun. Bianca, were you around in Madison for that?
Oh, that time. I mean, actually, probably not. I had just moved to DC. I thought you were going to be asking me whether I was here for this game and what it felt like, which if I can just answer that question, because no, I was not here in 2015. But what it felt like on Friday was us like looking back and forth at the score because it was such a good game. Like, oh my God, like we could have been contenders, But I listened to a podcast called Pardon My Take from Barstool Sports, and it was recapping March Madness because, I just really saw the highlights. And one of the hosts is a diehard Badger fan and so crushed. But they really said that the team played super well, like that this other team just really showed out, and the coach afterwards said that he's really proud of all of his players and that they had an exciting season. Like they really had some good games in there. So it sucks to be cut like this at the beginning, but for what it's worth, they played some good games and they deserve to feel good about their season.
I hope everyone had fun. That's all we want.
I don't know. You can talk. What was 2015 like?
It was madness. It was absolutely insane. I was a student at UW, and this was like we were flooding the streets of State Street. People were definitely trying to climb some light posts. Not me, but it was wild. It was one of those times where I was like, wow, I'm a Badger, and that feels great. And everyone's having such a great time. Unfortunately, the Badgers went on to lose that championship game, but it was still so much fun was had along the way.
Was Frank the Tank in it?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
That was like peak that season, right? Of like 2015s. And yeah, fun fact, I used to like live across the street from them in college and I would see them.
You couldn't miss him on campus.
No, that's so true. That's so true. Or like they had a friend that threw a bunch of parties in this one apartment and my apartment's balcony was across from theirs and we'd always just like wave back and forth to each other. It was a time and a place.
Oh. That sounds like so much fun. Well, we lost there, but I understand we have a win to celebrate. So we love you, Badgers. You really had a great season. And we're turning to different Badgers.
Yes, we've got good news. In fact, some great news. The Wisconsin women's hockey team won the NCAA championship over the weekend. The team managed a 3-2 win over their rivals, Ohio State. And this win cemented their 9th championship title. So that's actually really, really huge. That's the most division titles for any hockey team in D1 history, men's or women's. And
wow.
It's their second year in a row winning the championship. And the Badgers obviously had a really great season, 35 wins this year, and that's tied for the 4th most in program history, according to UW. So some pretty great stuff. It was a really great game from the Badgers, great showing. Our junior goaltender, Ava McNaughton, was named the most outstanding player of the tournament. So shout out to our girl Ava. And then before that, on Saturday, the game was on Sunday, but on Saturday, UW senior defender Caroline Harvey was named the Patty Kazmaier Memorial Award winner, which is for top players of the season. So this is like a really, really big recognition. And then not to mention that our team is full of Olympians. Outside of Ava and Caroline, we have women like Layla Edwards who are carrying this team. And our coach, who I only learned, I'm really telling on myself here in this segment, but like I didn't know our coach, Mark Johnson, is an Olympian and kind of a rock star in himself. He was part of the 1980s Miracle on Ice hockey team. Did you know that?
No, that's awesome.
We got Olympic rings to celebrate. We got championship rings to celebrate. It's been a great weekend for these ladies. And, shout out to them. We're so proud. We're so happy for them. And it's really exciting. And I know our producer Jade was over at Burnell's, the women's sports bar over on the east side. And she said it was packed. Lots of people love women's sports. And I got good news too. If you want more hockey, more women's hockey, the Professional Women's Hockey League, the PWHL, is streaming all of their sports games online. My friend told me this, that they stream their stuff for free on YouTube. And there are a lot of former Badgers on those teams, like Miss Hillary Knight. And it's a fun time. Lots of winning to behold in women's sports. We absolutely love to see it.
We love to see it. And I saw on the UW Badgers website, they titled it On Cloud 9. And that's just perfect. They're on Cloud 9, the Temptations, feeling fine on Cloud 9. Like any opportunity that we can bust that jam out, like the fact that you're at 9, like stop. Like you guys are making us so proud. So a lot of sports news and appreciate us getting into it. We've got more stories to get into. Turning to schools, taking a second look at their namesakes. But first, let's take a quick break.
Hi, CityCast listeners. This is David Plotz. I'm the CEO of CityCast, but I also have another job. I'm one of the hosts of the Political Gabfest, Slate's politics podcast. Every week, I get on mic with my co-hosts Emily Bazelon and John Dickerson, and we talk about politics and a lot more about other things that we care about. The Gabfest has been going for more than 20 years because the three of us love talking to each other, and we have an amazing community of listeners. If you like the open-hearted, curious way CityCast approaches cities, I think you'll like the Political Gabfest too. Stream it on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast.
So, the Madison School District is starting to move forward on the process of renaming 2 of its elementary schools, Lindbergh Elementary on the north side and LVM Elementary on the far east side. That process, which has been in the works for some time now, will start March 30th, so right after the district's spring break, which we're in right now. The 2 men the schools are named after have local ties, but pretty controversial histories around racism. So this is a quote I pulled from Chelsea Tubbs, Associate Superintendent for Elementary Schools. She said, This process gives our community the opportunity to reflect on our shared history and move forward together in a way that reflects the values we want our schools and our students to carry into the future, which I really appreciate. Like, it's a moment to reflect on the shared history and a moment to decide how we move forward. So, Haley, this isn't the first time Madison's moved to rename local schools. There's a history of doing this. What do you think about this process and news?
Well, if there's one thing to think about this process or one thing to know about this process, it's that everyone has a lot of thoughts and there is no simple answer. And it really does take a team of very strong minds to come together and make something happen here. So it is encouraging to see the school board and school district coming forward and reviving these efforts to do the name changes. Super exciting. And obviously that it's based in this moment of reflection and opportunity for growth in the future. Like you mentioned, it's just an opportunity for us to maybe readjust and reorient because, maybe these names serve their time and place, but also maybe it's time to move on.
Yeah. So a little background on the problematic history of the two. And this is uncomfortable stuff, obviously, and will be for a bit of this section. But Conrad LVM was a professor at UW-Madison, the biochemistry chair and dean of that grad school and president of the school. He's got a whole neighborhood named after him, if you know the LVM neighborhood, and he publicly supported banning Black folks from living in his neighborhood when he lived here. So not great.
Oy.
And indeed. Thinking about all of our conversations around the racial covenants around Madison. That's what that makes me think of, and how people actively didn't want diversity in their neighborhood. And the second name, Lindbergh, it's that Lindbergh, Charles Lindbergh, the famous American pilot who attended UW-Madison and unfortunately has known ties with Nazism and shared racist views against Jewish folks. So both of those are pretty problematic and have been decided that they need a new name. The good news is that the public can get involved. So y'all out there listening can submit name proposals to the school board at a regular meeting. The board also uses community surveys to make the timeline and priorities around this naming process. So Haley, I'm going to play a game with you because we're Black and Jewish and
so we get to decide now. It's our turn.
In this moment. So the rules for renaming are, according to district policy, MMSD schools are named for prominent national or local figures who are deceased, locally significant geographical sites, places of local significance, or ideas or concepts which represent a broadly respected community value. Do you have any names that you throw out into the mix for potentials?
My take on names, what if we stopped the people? Because here's the thing. We know even the best people among us are not going to be without their problems. And that's okay. Obviously, though, we can do better than Nazis and beyond. But I will say Lindbergh did not ever formally endorse the Nazis, but he did go on record saying, Germany, they got some good ideas over there. I digress. I don't know. What if we named a school after cool stuff in our state? I don't know, Sandhill Crane Elementary or Muskellunge Elementary. I don't know. I'm looking at our state symbols right now. Red granite is our state rock. That could be Red Granite High School. There's something there. Honeybees are our state insect. That's fun. Antigo silt's loam is our state soil. Someone could have a lot of fun with that one.
Getting in the dirt.
Trilobite, our state fossil. That would actually, I go to Trilobite High. That's so fun.
These are great, Haley. I'm loving these.
What would you do?
I totally agree. It's never meet your heroes. And we're in one of those moments. So I do have a name for one of them, which is, and it's already been floated in the community, Ada Deer Elementary, the Native American activist, former United States Assistant Secretary of the Interior for Indian Affairs, distinguished lecturer at UW-Madison. She just seems fantastic all around. But again, it does feel like you just never know. But Adadir was a top 2 finalist for the renaming of Madison Southside Elementary School, which I know we've talked about. They did end up going with Lori Mancari, a leader in education on Madison Southside. So I feel like Adadir is still up for grabs. And another idea was forward with an exclamation point, because obviously you have Forward Madison, but just thinking about bringing the state forward and our state motto and the Wisconsin idea. If you're going to go with Lindbergh or you're going to go with Conrad, these folks who have ties to UW-Madison, yeah, maybe skip the person and go with the ideas, the Wisconsin idea forward.
Wisconsin Idea Middle School. That's my name.
Yeah, that one sucks. I tanked the convo. Trilobite. Let's stick with Trilobite. Apparently, the school board makes the final decision about names. And I learned that the school board caps renaming 2 schools per year, which is relevant because the recent bombshell New York Times expose on allegations against civil and labor rights activist Cesar Chavez. So the district is currently monitoring the impact of this news. I know we've heard about it with respect to Chavez Elementary School on the southwest side of the city. Again, this is really uncomfortable, but if you didn't hear, there are allegations that Cesar Chavez sexually assaulted and harassed young girls, including the famous activist and his co-conspirator, Dolores Huerta, who's well beloved. And it seems like there's probably going to be a discussion of whether to rename that school. And I imagine that's happening now. I know we're having a lot of fun. We're trying to keep, we knew this was coming, but you heard about that news, right, Haley?
Yeah, absolutely. I know the Cap Times did some reporting on this, and the school board kind of said, like we're taking it all in. We are, quote unquote, monitoring the situation and trying to figure out what's best for us. But yeah, it's really, again, it's a whole time of us really reckoning who are the people that we idolize, and they also contain multitudes, which can be sort of horrific in a way, but it is human. I know in Milwaukee, they had a life-size statue of Cesar Chavez installed over on the city's south side in 2016. And last week, it was wrapped up in black plastic, and then it was removed recently. So it's everyone sort of across the country is figuring out what to do with this, from the statues, from the name day celebrations to, just like labor movement in general and how we have to reckon with that and who the leaders are here. So yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard.
Right. And when we talk about, conversations around representations, this is really tough, taking down any Latino namesake. But Cesar Chavez, for many Latinos and others, that expose on him was devastating because he is such a historic figure. He's been heralded as a hero for the working class, for so many who fearlessly fought for Mexican-American farm workers, for humane working conditions. And I listened to a Latino USA this morning. They had an interview with activist Dolores Huerta where they interviewed her about what happened. And it was the first time she's spoken out since coming forward. And she's one of the most prominent names in the movement. And she came forward with allegations that Chavez sexually assaulted her twice. And in the interview, she said she'd never told anyone out of fear that it would take away from the movement, and that Cesar was a, quote, genius. He was her boss and she admired him. And that's the only reason why he had proximity to her and got away with this, because he was really admired, including by her. And so it's a really ugly history, but it is something that we need to grapple with. And now Madison will be grappling with it with this elementary name. And it's an ugly history. And maybe those leaders don't need to be learned about by being the name of a school. That's my point of view. I feel like a lot of Madisonians probably feel that way.
I mean, hey, maybe we keep them in the textbook and now there's a whole new update to this textbook that we're going to have to add in. I mean, history, I think as a kid, I always just thought of it as so black and white, right? This is something that happened. Someone wrote it down and now we know what happened. But obviously we see it is a living and breathing thing, and the context is always changing based on the information that we have. And we should be so lucky to have all of this further information and context now these days. But what those implications are moving forward still remain to be seen, right? We're watching it unfold in this moment. And Madison is just part of the picture that's been caught up in this national story.
And Madison does have names worthy of being shouted out. We're going to transition. I know it's a heavy one, and thanks for sticking with us, y'all. It's important to talk about. But speaking of names, we do want to honor some folks, we're turning to our neighbor program to talk about our newest neighbors. We have new neighbors, Haley.
Yes, we do. We've got 3 new neighbors to shout out. A big old CityCast Madison welcome to Chris N, Emily M, and Jessica S. Welcome to the neighborhood. You will see us in your inbox right away when you get your weekly members exclusive events email. And we hope to see you in person at our next members event. We had so much fun recently doing some crafting at the Imaginary Factory.
It was a dream, Haley. It was a dream. I mean, it was it was such a brilliant idea. Yeah, has anyone ever heard of a craft night? But it was a craft night at Imaginary Factory, which already does craft nights on Thursdays and has this beautiful setup full of magazines and books and paints and all of that, and like a little snack table. And our CityCast Madison neighbors joined us to do crafts. I did a watercolor and I talked with a lot of folks. People were making bracelets. And Haley, what were you making anything? You were like holding it down for the floor. I can't remember.
You know, I was doing my my executive duties of schmoozing, you know, but I did stop to do some craft. I helped our very own Rob Thomas make a friendship bracelet. So he's got a new skill to add to his resume. And I was really just honestly inspired by the people who came in and were like, yeah, I've never done this before, but I'm just going to do it now. You know, Jade was doing origami and there was another neighbor who was trying to do origami for the first time, and people were collaging and just having a good time. So it was really great. You know, that's the whole goal of our neighbors program, is to bring people together in person, to be in community, especially at the time when news can be hard. News can be devastating. It can be a lot to deal with. So just to be able to come in, decompress with people who, you know, are probably, even if you don't know them, like, you know that they probably got good vibes because you're both CityCast Madison neighbors. And yeah, I think we accomplished a lot of that in craft night, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again. Shout out to the folks at Imaginary Factory for being so welcoming to us.
Yes, agreed. Thank y'all for making that so seamless for us. Thank you to Haley for getting all of the supplies that we added to the pile. And it was really fun. And we talked about everything. Like we were connected with people like, oh, where did you grow up? And talking about, you know, shows that we've done on CityCast Madison and how folks love the events newsletter and restaurants that are opening and closing and places you have to go. It's basically an extension of the work that we're doing and the labor of love, call it work. It's really actually quite fun. And I will say at one moment, Haley, you called me out. You overheard a conversation. We were talking about tornadoes, and you're like, did Bianca bring up natural disasters? But the weather's been so crazy. And we overheard someone talking about state climatologist Steve Vavris, who comes on from time to time to tell us what's going on in these crazy winds of the world. And yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. And can't recommend folks join us in our neighbor program enough. If you want to get in on the fun, future events, get those member exclusive events emails, you should head to membership.citycast.fm to join. And as promised, we're getting into some good news ahead. Maybe even talking about weather and weather disasters. But before we get to that, let's take a quick break. Okay, y'all, the weather has been absolutely cray-cray. And yes, it's hard to believe that last week we got into the week with a blizzard. That was insane, which always brings so much chaos. But amongst that, a great place to kick off our new series, Looking Good, or Good on You in Madison. We're still deciding on the name. But it's going to be about taking a moment to shout out someone who's looking good in our community, who's doing good. And this week's shout out goes to Snowplow driver Brian Heggie, who helped clear the path Sunday night of the blizzard for a mother who went into labor. To be clear, this is not this immediate Sunday, but the Sunday prior. But it's just a really cute story that we're thinking about all week. Haley, you saw this one.
Yes, I mean, I love a little, you know, late in the game blizzard. It makes everything look like a snow globe outside, but life goes on, right? And some people have to deliver babies. And I'm obsessed with this story. I feel like it's so Midwestern to be like, okay, I got to go deliver this child and we need to call a snowplow to make that happen.
Yeah, I feel like everyone on Sunday was inside and into Monday morning. You know, the chaos that ensued on Monday morning from the blizzard, where I was at an appointment and a doctor's appointment and half their staff didn't show up. And I mean, it was all kinds of crazy. So to think about going into labor and then being like, well, how do we get there? So here's the story. Nyangi Wambura went into labor on Sunday night, and she said that things progressed really quickly. Her partner called an ambulance, who then called the Madison Fire Department. Shout out to them, who then called Madison Streets, who quickly enlisted Brian to get out and pave the way. And Brian, it sounds like, is like, was pretty nervous. I saw a video news story on Spectrum News 1, which I recommend because it's really sweet, but it's nerve-wracking to be a snowplow driver. And Brian saved the day. And apparently Brian and Nyangi met up this last week after she gave birth. There's a really cute photo of them. So they got to meet each other, and he got to meet her new son. So it makes me think of the cutest episode ever from CityCast Madison. When I talked to Margaret Craigie, Madison's first ever female snowplow driver, and how much love and care that they dedicate to clearing our streets, and like also how friggin' precarious it is. And all of the notes like, can you please not do this because you are putting us all in danger? Yeah, there's a lot of goodness here.
It is so much goodness. And this is such a good way to start off this segment. You know, we really want to try and bring some good news to people right at the beginning of the week. So, you know, if you have someone or something that you see around the city that, you know, you think that makes me happy or that makes me proud, let us know, because we'd love to feature them on the podcast. Send us an email, madison@citycast.fm, or call us, leave us a voicemail, send us a text. You can do that at 608-318-3367. It's so fun to hear about this good news. I also really just love the entire, you know, city coordination effort that went into this, right? Because you got the ambulance and you got the streets and the fire department and all this stuff. And oh my goodness, all of this to get a baby out into the world. It takes a village, you know? And then 2 days later, the snow melted, the birds are singing. I saw a Reddit post. Someone had posted this sandhill crane, speaking of our favorite birds, frolicking in a bunch of puddles. And I'm like, spring is here. Let's go. I'm so happy.
We needed that. Like, we really did. And I know for those of you listening, because we know that you're out there and you're like, don't hate on winter. We love winter, and it's March. Winter gets the most months, and sometimes you want something new. So, I mean, I got outside as soon as I could when it was nice out, and I... Love is in the air, you know, filet fleur, everything is starting to come back to life, which is just so exciting.
Yeah, it feels great. You know, I had to drive across the isthmus over the weekend and got stuck in some pretty brutal John Nolan traffic, which I should have known was coming. But also I was like, it's the middle of the day on a Saturday. Why would anyone else be driving? I'm the only one driving a car. It was not true. There were a lot of people driving. Yeah, everyone's going to brunch. But I wasn't so mad about it because you can drive with your windows down, you can hear the birds, you can see the lake splashing to the side. It's quite a scene. There were so many people out on Saturday, and it really just reminded me like, wow, this city is alive. People are out and about and they are doing all the fun things. You mentioned, Bianca, I know you got outside. I took a nice big ol' walk around the Yahara Park. It's so nice out there just to be able to get into the warm weather and enjoy all of the seasons that Madison has to offer, which, you know, in 1 week could be all four at once like we experienced.
I know that I can walk during the winter, and I frequently do get outside and take a winter walk. But when it's so windy and blustery, like it just feels depressing. But getting back in my routine, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling spring fever. I understand March Madness. We're out of it, but people are still feeling coming back to life, and I could not be more here for it. Like, one sign of that is that I've already went and got some iced coffee. I I already have gotten some iced coffee. I stopped today at Java Cat Coffee House on Lean Road over by East Town Mall, kind of. And I'd been told about it, and it's really cute. And the space is super sunny, and it's the definition of a coffee house because it's in a house structure, and there are a bunch of windows, and they look out at nature. And yes, everything is growing. Like I'm seeing little green things is popping out. They're small, but it's just the beginnings. And while I'm talking about coffee, I do want to really quick just shout out to Wonder State on the Capitol Square. I did see your comment about our recent trivia episode where Wonder State was a trivia answer, and my response was, the place that I've never gone into. This is what I get for never going there because I forgot your name. I saw your comment and it was hilarious. They're like, hey, we don't bite. I will definitely be coming through and I can get some iced coffee there. But that's part of my spring ritual, I guess, is supporting local shops and getting some buzz.
I'm an iced coffee year-round type of gal. I don't know what kind of horrors that says about me, but respect. And yeah, shout out to the people at Wonder State for listening to the podcast and commenting on their Spotify. We see you. We appreciate you. We're going to come for some coffee sometime soon. I'm happy. You know, it makes me want to get a fun spring playlist on. And for me, it's the two wolves inside me, one is singing Bowling for Soup and the other is singing Flo Milli. So that's all I'm going to leave you with.
It's time to get the jams on. I have been just like devouring a bunch of podcasts. So my podcast right now is Aspire with Emma Grede, just about boss women being aspirational. And the last episode I listened to was on Issa Rae, you know, the showrunner for HBO's Insecure, and they're up to new things. But yeah, empowering women. That's my spring playlist.
Hell yeah. We got to get the women's hockey team on that show.
Absolutely. But hey, this has been a really happy Tuesday, fun stuff, positive news, and stuff going on in Madison that we didn't get to on Friday. And it's been a joy. Haley, thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks, Bianca.
That's all for today here on CityCast Madison. I'm your host, Bianca Martin. Don't forget, you can get more news delivered right to your inbox by subscribing to the CityCast Madison newsletter. And you can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Madison neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. If you enjoyed today's show, why not share this episode with someone who likes to stay up to date on what's happening in our hamlet? All right, see you back here tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Until then, thanks for listening and have a great week.